Well, good morning, my friends. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. Let's get into the mix. Come on, there it goes. Let's get TikTok here. Maybe being experienced doesn't stop you from being a beginner. Maybe it means you just get better at being one. Speaking of being a beginner, forgot my mic. All right, let's get proper microphone. Enter. There we are. Yeah, maybe being experienced doesn't stop you from being a beginner. Maybe it means you get better at being one. Good morning. This is the morning report from the Working Actor NYC, your place for real life stories, strategies, and insights into the daily life of a working actor in New York City. All right, that music is lovely. Let's have thank you for being here. Good morning, friends. Yes, I survived Bhangra boot camp. And apparently 25 plus years into my acting career, I'm a complete beginner again. So we have just finished the first 3 days of rehearsal for new musical, A Beat of Our Own, at the McCarter Theater Center in Princeton, New Jersey. So no, this is not my home. Those are my suitcases. Because I am in the one of the actor housing apartments at the McCarter Theater Center in Princeton, New Jersey. And we're working on this new musical, A Beat of Our Own. And competitive Bhangra, an Indian style of dance, is central to the show. So we started with a Bhangra boot camp. Now this is physical. This is very physical. There's a lot of jumping. You are constantly moving, jumping your feet. There's a lot of formation changes and sequences. There's a lot of bouncing squats and then explosive jumps. Good morning, UAE 51. How are you doing? Welcome, Abu Dhabi. So I'm just talking about how I'm doing this, started rehearsals for this new show, A Beat of Our Own, at the McCarter Theater Center in Princeton, New Jersey. And I'm doing good. It is very physical. Bhangra as a dance style is very physical. It's an enormous amount of strain and pressure on the legs. Now, I have done some dance-heavy musicals. Mary Poppins on Broadway, Beauty and the Beast, Singing in the Rain. But I was a much younger man then. I haven't thought of myself as one of the dancers for a long time. So the central, sort of the genuine question going into all of this has always been, can my body still do this? I am 55 years old, and the pleasant surprise of doing this 3 days of Bhangra boot camp is that, yes, my body can still do this. I am a regular gym goer. I lift, I do regular cardio, and it turns out that that's paying off. I am keeping up with people thank you, Kishu. Our H's are still going on. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, drop a like if you approve of the way my body is holding up. And I mean, like, you know, there are considerably younger people in this company, and I am not the one huffing and puffing in the corner. I'm genuinely pleased to discover that my body is much more capable than I was giving it credit for. The stamina is an everyday born new baby in the other pathway. Oh, that's a beautiful way of putting it, UAE. I love that. Yeah, the stamina is not where I am struggling in this Bhangra boot camp. It's the vocabulary. Of course, hi, Abir Anwar. Each of these Bhangra moves has a name. Punjabs, lifts, taps, Kali, Kichka. I was not any of the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy user. So it's the names. Each of these moves has a name, and I just keep thinking when they say one of the names, I'm like, wait, which one is that again? You know. And some of the company members have been involved in this musical in other iterations, so they've already been exposed to this style of dance and the language that goes along with it. I don't have that. So to me, there is no shame in being behind their knowledge base. And I know that I can put in the time and catch up. But I have to tolerate being the person in the room who doesn't know yet. Being bad at something isn't evidence that you can't do it. Sometimes that's simply what learning feels like. Let's see. Hi, Carter Mansell. Hi, Pam's X5D. Hi, Abby and Finley. My name is Benjamin Howes. This is the Working Actor NYC. And we are live. So good morning. Let me know where you are in the world and what you're working on in your acting career. Afro Puffs Travel, good morning. Thank you for joining me. This is the daily, the morning report from the Working Actor NYC, and I'm letting you in. I'm letting you inside the rehearsal room for a beat of our own at the McCarter Theater Center. And we just had 3 days of Bhangra boot camp. Good morning, dear. I'm 55 years old. I am not single, happily married. But what this whole process has brought up for me, please drop a like in the comment. If you're enjoying the chat and the live, please feel free to follow me. Really helps get the word out about the channel and the lives. Feel free to like. Share your likes. Oh, thank you, UAE. Hi, Abir. Oh, I got to go to Egypt. What was that, 2023, I think. The absolute bucket list destination. I really enjoyed it. It's Prince Melvin HRH asks, has the film season begun filming in Manhattan? I recently did a video about this. Check out my post from Sunday about the Paramount Warner Brothers merger, because there's drinking coffee because it is 8:09 in the morning. But you asked about filming season. You know, there's this sort of collective idea that Hollywood is dying, and there's been such enormous investment in sound stages in Manhattan and New Jersey and the tri-state area. Borden Studios is open now. Wildflower Studios is open now. Sunset Pier 94 in the west side of Manhattan. Netflix is investing $1 billion in building sound stages at Fort Monmouth in New Jersey. Lionsgate is developing a whole studio in New Jersey. So there's all this investment into sound stages. And what we learned through this year is that those sound stages that are open are getting busy. So filming is starting to come back. They started filming Law & Order SVU in West Chelsea. I'm sure they have. That is a show that does not Does not have an expiration date on it. Thanks, dear. Ready to share and happy to help. Drop a like if you're enjoying the live, and if you're enjoying the chat, hit follow. It really helps get the word out. So yeah, just going back to A Beat of Our Own and the Bhangra boot camp that I've just been doing. When I was younger, I noticed this pattern in myself. If I tried something and I wasn't immediately pretty good at it, I would just stop doing it. And, you know, maybe there's a certain amount of ego involved. Like, I'm talented, shouldn't I be good at this? You know, and with acting, there's a sort of complication because you're sort of constantly being evaluated. You're constantly auditioning for something and either getting it or not getting it. And do you get the call back or not get the call back? You know, I get accustomed to wanting to demonstrate how competent I am at something. Thanks, Prince Melvin, HRH. There's, you know, a certain level of discomfort in allowing people to watch you not be good at something, not know how to do something, how to learn how to do something. And somewhere along the way, my relationship with that changed. I used to love learning things I was good at. Now I've learned to love being bad at things long enough to get better. That's sort of what I've noticed has been the change in myself. Good morning, JRM. Dear, my name is Benjamin Howes. This is the Working Actor NYC. This is coffee. Coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon. That's my flow. And every acting job makes you a beginner again in some way. You know, the obvious example is with this show, with A Beat of Our Own, I have to learn Bhangra. You know, I literally have to learn a new skill, a new dance style. But every job asks me to learn something. Sometimes it's artistic, sometimes it's technical, sometimes it's interpersonal. Every rehearsal room has its own culture, its own vocabulary. Hi, Lon. Every director communicates differently. Every company has a different rhythm. Every project asks something of you that the last one didn't. And sometimes that new skill is collaboration, learning how to collaborate with this particular group of people. You know, I think back to last year, I was working on a new musical, and I was excited to contribute ideas to the musical, to the room. But I remember I was walking into a musical that had been being built for years. And so the writers, the composers, the director, they had already invested enormous amounts of time in developing this new piece of material. And my silly little idea might unlock something brilliant, or it might take us all in a completely different direction away from the tone that they're trying to create. So I had to learn how this particular team wanted to collaborate. You know, so I had to learn, when do I offer something? When do I listen? How do I contribute without needing my contribution to be used? You know, that's a skill too. Sometimes what you have to learn on a job isn't how to perform the role, it's how to be part of that particular room. Let's see where we are. Good morning, James Rockefeller Gray 8. Good morning, Michael Farina is in the house. Good morning, Michael. Thank you for being here. That's a nice surprise. Michael Farina is a very talented actor that I have worked with on numerous occasions. Good morning, Luz Cabreros Quilos. Good morning, Kessani. Dear knows what I'm talking about. Good morning, Lency. Thank you for being here. Friends, if you are enjoying the chat and the live, please hit follow. Thank you, Ngoc Diep. Welcome from Vietnam. Who have we got in the house today? We've got Vietnam. I know we've got Abu Dhabi. I know we've got Philippines, Indonesia. It is still morning here, dear. It is 8:16 on Monday morning. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you to say that. So talking about learning, it just reminds me of earlier in my career when I go to a lot of open calls and I was constantly being asked to sing something from my audition book. And no matter how big that book got, I always needed new material. Apparently it was never enough. Like a short comic song from the golden age of Broadway, no problem. Contemporary musical theater, absolutely fine. Pop rock, okay. Folk storytelling in the style of Bruce Springsteen, K-pop. Like, what do you people want from me? 25 years into my career, apparently the answer to have I learned enough yet is still no. But I also think about, when we're talking about learning and constantly being a beginner, you like pop punk, Dead too. Pop punk. See, if somebody wrote a pop punk musical, I would need guidance about what to sing for that audition. Oh yes, I had been a working actor in New York City for over 25 years, and I was working actor in Australia for some years before that as well, before I moved to America. So I'm constantly learning. Blink 182, yeah, heard. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, we've reached 3,000 comments on TikTok, y'all. Achievement. Thank you. Thank you for your help. I love that so many of you show up every morning when I'm doing the daily. This is the morning report from the Working Actor NYC, your place for real life stories, insights, and strategies for the daily life of a working actor in New York City. Oh, don't hate kangaroos. He was fighting with me off script. I am neon. I feel like it's my way to wake up in the morning. But reaching 3,000 comments. Thank you so much for all the follows. Thank you so much for the likes. They really help. But it just makes me think it's another example. I was not a content creator 2 years ago. I had to learn making videos with hooks and editing and retention and thumbnails and lives and analytics. And I was not immediately good at it all, but I didn't make the conclusion from that, well, apparently I'm not a content creator. I just kept making things. I allowed myself to be a beginner, and now it's something I genuinely love doing. You don't discover whether you're capable of something by how good you are on day one. Oh, thank you for the heart me. I do heart you. The gifts are a huge help. Gifts are a huge help, and the shares, please share this with your friends. Hi, Ali Sulu. Sup, bro? Rosalie Clinique, welcome. New York City and luxury doesn't make Rue deal with that. I don't know, RuPaul, if that's who you're talking about. Welcome, friends. But I think if I were to extract some sort of wisdom from 3 days of Bhangra boot camp, I think it's this, that there's an irony to getting older and more experienced. You can start to believe that your experience means you should always know what you're doing. But I think the opposite thought is healthier. Right now, I can simultaneously be an actor with decades of experience and a novice Bhangra dancer desperately trying to remember which move everybody is talking about. These things don't contradict each other, you know? In fact, willingness to keep becoming a beginner may be part of how you have a long career. It may be part of what builds a sustainable career. Because the industry changes, the work changes, you change. So keep learning. Being experienced doesn't mean you stop being a beginner. Maybe it means you get better at being one. Does that make sense? Thanks for the good job. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Friends, your gifts help, your likes help, your follows help. Please share this with your friends. Hit follow. I'm here every weekday morning at 8 a.m. The daily is the daily, the morning report from the Working Actor NYC. And oh, thank you, Fearly. Hi, Philippines. Ryan Paredes is here from the Philippines. Please let me know what you are working on in your acting career, because I would love to find out. Oh, thank you for the gifts. They really make a big difference. The freestyle, the rose. Thank you, friends. I am here. I am ready to share, and I'm happy to help. And I'm here every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Let's see, it's now 8:23. So set your clocks. I'll be right back here tomorrow. Let's see how we're doing over on Instagram. Afro Puffs, James Rockefeller Gray, thank you for joining us. Michael Farina, are you still here? What are you working on at the moment? Let me know where you are. Or let me know what you're struggling with. Maybe there's something that you have questions about. Maybe there's something that you're like, here's what I don't get. I mean, Michael is, thank you. I appreciate the time here is now 8:24 a.m. on Monday. I love green too. Green is my favorite color. And this neon feels like a good way to start the day. Maybe Michael knows exactly what I'm talking about, this sort of idea of you constantly feel like you're being a beginner with every job. You're learning something, whether it's technical or stylistic or simply how this particular room operates. I love learning new things. It's always been one of my passions. I am constantly teaching myself stuff. Hi, are you familiar in Pax Silica? I don't know what that is. So the answer is no. Sergio Reen. I am not familiar with that. Tell me what that is. All right, Facebook has gone quiet for the moment. Sergio Reen, I'm originally from Australia. Dim Swan is here. Dim Swan. Spali is in the house. Now everything's good. We had some more people from Bali earlier in the live. Sergio is from Philippines. Hi, Philippines. Yes, Sergio, I had an invitation to do a job in Manila last month. Unfortunately, I could not make it work. Never been to Manila. I've been to the Philippines. No, I've never been to the Philippines. I've been to Indonesia, but I've only been to Jakarta. I haven't been to Bali. Would love to go to Bali. I also have never been to Vietnam. I would love to go to Vietnam. I'm a huge fan of. Hi, Esther from Uganda. Don't have work to offer anybody. Sorry about that. Yeah, I would love to go to the Philippines. Okay, I'm working with. I'm working with. Here's what I notice about being on Broadway in New York. Filipinas are amazing singers. What is it about the Philippines that creates such unbelievably talented vocalists? I'm working with one at the moment. I've worked with, I have several friends that I've done shows with who are just incredible vocalists. And I would love to know why it is that the Philippines creates such incredible vocalists. If you know the answer, let me know. Michael Farina, Slim Pickens, changing over to self-tapes has been a learning curve for sure, but slow times. It has been slow. So Michael, I have been investigating the possibility of adding a manager to my team. And Mikey, our agent, reached out to a manager for me because he thought there was somebody I'd be a good fit with. And their response was immediate. They were just like, oh no, I need to trim my roster at the moment because there's just not enough work for all of my clients. It is, things have been slow. I understand, because I'm sort of trying to focus on film and TV more than I have. I'll be right back, Sergio. Just want to keep this conversation going with Michael. Yeah, I believe that film and TV is starting to pick up in New York City now, and particularly with all of these sound stages, particularly with the New York State film and television tax incentives changing. That work is starting to pick up. But I know that it doesn't feel like that just yet. I think these sort of slow times are a good opportunity to make sure that your materials are focusing your work in the way that helps you the best. That's certainly what I've been working on with my coaching clients, and to help give them some sort of agency in keeping the momentum in their careers. That's certainly what's been helpful for them. But yeah, the self-tapes thing, I think we went really deep into how difficult it was for a while. And now I think the pendulum is swinging back the other way. Casting directors are like, yes, of course, it's really helpful if your background is plain, but mostly all they need is to be able to see and hear you. There are certain things that, so elevating from beyond that stage to the next stage is not about the backdrop and the lighting, and whether or not you have a lapel mic. The next stage of that is literally the structure of the self-tape itself. That is what I'm learning. If you want more info about that, just let me know, because I would love to talk about that too. Okay. Gia Natividad says that, we're talking about the Philippines, why Philippines create such incredible vocalists, maybe because of karaoke. That's why we're good in music. So karaoke is obviously hugely popular. I think that's my idol here is Janine Berdin. I'm going to write that down because I don't know who that is, but I am going to look up Janine Berdin. Janine Berdin. Hello, Susie Shop. I'll be back because I'll bring the car. I hope you can smile today. I will smile. Thank you, Dim Swan. You go get the car. Emma from Algeria needs a job. The title of her song is What If I Miss You for the Rest of My Life? I will look that one up. What if I miss you for the rest of my life? Question mark. I love that. Don Este, I am from Australia originally, but I will search for it in YouTube, Sergio. Don Este, I'm originally from Australia, but I now live in New York City, and I'm currently working in Princeton, New Jersey. That is where I am from. Yeah, I want to look that up. I'm interested in that phenomenon of the amazing singers of the Philippines. Friends, I have a day off today. I am not reading Somali language. Hello, Lin Heraldez. I do not know Somali. I'm very proud of myself that I'm learning some some Punjab vocabulary for the Bhangra boot camp that I just finished, working on a beat of our own. Friends, I have so much to get to today. It's my one and only day off, and I have to focus on my coaching clients. I have some loose ends to wrap up with my coaching clients. If you're interested in coaching, check out the workingactornyc.com/coaching. If you're looking for help with some help guiding your acting career, I want to get started on my Substack essay for this week. Patrick and I are going to be recording this week's podcast on Thursday, so we've got some hi Thailand, Sawadee krap. I have to get some preparation in for this week's podcast. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. I may also have an audition. I have to check in from that. I have to check in. But I may be recording some sides today. All right, friends, I'm going to keep moving. Thank you so much for joining me for the daily. I'm right here every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Remember, wherever you are in your acting career, you got this. Keep going. All right, friends, I'll be right back.